Hello, Nick Mohammed here. It's my party, and I'll have Catherine O'Hara if I want to.
Hello, I'm Catherine Bohart. Welcome to It's My Party, where we are celebrating Comic Relief's 40th birthday in the best way possible by planning a massive party. As always, I'm here in my role as the perfect party planner, and so I'm going to be sitting down with a brilliant guest, getting to know them and their party needs so that we can help them plan their dream do. This week, I'm joined by Nick Mohammed. Nick, of course, plays Nathan Shelley in Ted Lasso, a performance he's been nominated for an Emmy for twice, not just once, a show-off. He's also portrayed his own comedy character, Mr. Swallow, on stage for TV for over a decade.
Which hasn't been nominated for any Emmys.
Well, there's still time, Nick. Don't be too greedy. And he's heading out on tour once again this year. Nick, welcome to It's My Party. Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me. And we should say that I'm very sorry I'm an hour late.
We didn't even have to say, but you're so British you couldn't do the
could
podcast
not.
without
I
saying
felt
it.
so bad. And in fact, Connie, who was arranging this and sort of going, she was like, it's very unlike Nick. It's very, and she was calling me saying, it's very unlike you, Nick. So I'm worried something's happened. She was really, really worried.
That's so
something,
sweet.
I know. And I was like, oh God, I'm so, and it was literally, I just got the wrong address and headed on the overground
But
to
I'm
the
so
other
relieved,
side of London.
because to be fair, they did say to us it's very unlike him too enough times that we were all a bit
What
like,
were you all
is he all
thinking?
right? Has he had a
thinking.
bicycle accident?
And
What's happening?
the truth is, I was recording another podcast prior to that about magic of all things, and then
Well, we are going to get
vanished.
to the magic.
Oh, are we?
You did vanish. How exciting.
I know, yeah.
He was last seen in the Bermuda Triangle. We will get to it. Before that,
Yes.
this tour, what's new with you? The
This
tour is happening
tour-
when?
Oh yes, I should mention the tour. So the tour is, when is it happening? It's happening in May, mid-May. I want to say the 13th or 14th of May is the first
Sure,
date.
guess that your
And
tour
it's
dates. Why
called.
not?
I know. Yeah, all available on nickmohammedlive.com. It's called Show Pony. It's another Mr. Swallow
Gorgeous.
show, and it's just another Mr. Swallow fair, sort of about everything and nothing. Really.
If you've not seen Mr. Swallow, what are you going to expect?
Oh God! So Mr. Swallow, for anybody who's not aware, is a character that I've been doing a good while now, showing my age. But this sort of northern, sort of busybody who talks like that. And it is irritating, but hopefully, as that sounds, but hopefully charming as well. And actually,
It's very charming.
This show is specifically about the teacher I had who taught me GCSE English, because the character is based on her, and I've never really talked about that.
Wow.
And so it's sort of the Mr. Swallow origin story. But so I'm talking about the basis of the character, but whilst being in character still. So it's kind of a little bit kind of typically convoluted in a Mr. Swallow way. And of course, there's lots of distractions along the way.
I
But
can't
but
wait
that
to
is
see it.
that
It
is
sounds
basically in a
amazing.
nutshell. That's what it's about.
Is it origin story always hints at some sort of like dark underbelly, like he's going to go evil, but it's not a Nathan Shelley moment.
No, it's not a Nathan Shelley. No. He's very or it's a very odd thing now, because like I've been very open for the last 2 years saying it's based on a woman. So the reason why it's so
Yeah.
campy is because I'm being her, and I have always, since I was like 14, 15, doing that voice in the playground. You know, it's just
this
me.
started
It's just
by
me.
bullying a woman at work.
Well, not so much bullying, because she didn't really know about it. But you know, in the way that kids, like, you know, you do impressions of teachers and stuff. And so I just sort of do that thing because that was her attitude.
Was she
and
a good teacher?
She's brilliant. I mean,
Oh,
like
heaven.
she was so inspiring. You know, I
Heaven.
mean, she was mad, but like, you know, brilliant.
That is, I think, did you say English?
Yeah, English. Yeah, GCSE
I
English.
think it's
yeah.
your right as an English teacher. I think you actually have to kind of be
Yeah.
a kook, otherwise what's the point?
Well, I talk quite a lot in the show about her being like a performer in a way, because she was clearly a frustrated performer, and
They
using
always
sort
are.
of teaching as a platform, really, I think, to kind of spout all kinds of views. But you know, when we'd read stuff out as a class, you know, well, the idea was we'd read it as a class, but she would like hog all the main parts, like if we're reading out Shakespeare. So she'd be Romeo, Juliet. No, and then she would be reading all the back, so it didn't really make that much sense, so we couldn't really tell what was going on. But oh God, she was an absolute
I'm
inspiration.
obsessed with her.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Wow. A good English teacher can really change a life. Mine
Yeah.
saved mine for sure. He was
Really?
like, he was my most ardent supporter, and he ran a debate club at
Right.
lunch, which was like my sort of
Yeah,
lifeline
yeah,
in
yeah.
school. And he was just heaven on earth. And I think I still see him, and when I see him, he's obviously like, yeah, you were in my English class.
Yeah.
I see him and I'm like, it's
Yeah,
so
quite
good to see
yeah,
you.
yeah. No, you're so
He's like,
completely.
Why are you crying?
No, yeah. I mean, English teachers are, because I remember the one who came in after that teacher. because she left after, certainly after
Like he started doing the impression of her, and she was weeded out of the school.
hopefully not. But the guy who was called Mr. Watson, I don't know if you might listen to this, who knows? And he was a part-time actor because we went to see him in a production of like Bouncers at the
Whoa.
Alhambra Theatre, or the studio of the Alhambra Theatre in Bradford. And he was great, and he was like, "Oh, you're really cool," like, and he was funny.
That's
And
sick.
like I don't know if he still did acting or whether he kind of went into it fully or anything,
Yeah.
but he was into it. He was like really committed and like loved doing all the plays and stuff. So yeah, he was great.
Did you go to a mixed gender school?
Yeah,
You're
very much
so
so.
lucky. Anytime we had a remotely cool young male teacher, that poor
Yeah.
guy was hounded out of the
Oh,
place
right, okay.
pretty fast. My God, just 32 absolutely feral girls being like, what scent are you wearing, sir? Just like, oh God, stop it. Just so I can put it on my pillow. It's so intense. Well,
Oh,
Nick,
God.
this is so exciting.
This is exciting.
If you don't mind,
Yes.
let's get into it on the party front, because I
Let's
can't
go
start
for
planning
it.
yours until I know how you feel about them.
Mm.
What is your attitude towards parties? Do you like them? Do you
In
loathe them?
general,
Do you want to go to them?
I'm just having a little San Pellegrino. Are we allowed to mention it's San Pellegrino?
Why not?
It
You've
feels
said
like a
it.
party now.
It does.
I generally love them.
Do you? Good.
I do. I actually really, really love them. And
Yay.
I think I used to prefer going to people's houses and attending them, or wherever they were. And increasingly, Becca and my wife, we love hosting a party.
Oh my God, that's so
We
nice.
love it, and we try to. So we are. You're going to see from some of my responses to a lot of these questions, but we're big Christmas fans, like the biggest.
I'm so thrilled to hear you say that. I was raised in a sort of like Christmas cult. My mother
Yeah.
adores Christmas. I love Christmas.
I was, not many people know this, but so I was weirdly baptized Greek Orthodox because my mum's from Cyprus. Then
Wow.
raised in the C of E church, so was like confirmed and everything, and was sort of ostensibly quite religious. Like went to church every Sunday pretty much till I started university. I'm very much an atheist now,
Yeah.
and probably was all the time, but was sort of
Listen, it's just a cultural pastime where I'm from.
and
You're
also
grand.
I loved the community aspect of it. I love all the art that comes off religion and things like that, the music and the traditions and stuff. Anyway, Christmas was obviously such a special time, and not that you have to be a Christian to enjoy Christmas, but I adored it. And it was, I think, maybe partly because being at a church at Christmas is like peak sort of church. That's the most exciting church is ever going to get. Is it?
Well,
Christmas?
especially if you're C of E. Good lord.
Yeah, well,
that's
there's
a dull
nothing really.
show.
Well, there's nothing else to get.
No.
It's not so traditional that there are these kind of like exciting kind of like it is just. I'm just there, and even like the hymns outside of Christmas are really boring.
Especially if you're at a sea of Egypt. I'm sorry, this is very spec, but I agree. So
Yeah.
Christmas is a highlight. So you like to host Christmas?
So this is the thing. So the reason why I say that is so Becca and I got married at Christmas.
Cute.
We
So
had
did
our
my
first-
parents.
Did
In my
they?
dad's words, because sure, the church will already be decorated. You don't have to pay for flowers in there.
I love that.
A romantic man.
But in a way, it's sort of like well, we're not that religious, but we love Christmas, and
Yep.
that's all the because we got married in a chapel because in Magdalen College, Cambridge, where I was at, we because I was an alumnus, we got to use the chapel.
Can
but
I just
only because
say-
it's all candlelit and it was like Harry Potter, and we were like,
That's so brave. That is the longest a Cambridge grad I think has ever gone speaking on a mic without saying that they went to Cambridge. So
Oh,
you did really
really?
well. That's a record.
Thank
Yeah, you got to
you.
what,
Thank
6.5
you.
minutes? Well
yeah,
done.
well, just yes.
I'm so proud of you.
6:40. I try. Yes, I mean, you look at it and start talking about footlights.
So you got married there.
So we got married there, but because we were because we were allowed to use that little chapel basically, and it
Beautiful.
is. I mean, it's like 14th century. It is gorgeous. The hall is
Nice.
candlelit. There's no electric lighting because apparently it's too dangerous. I mean, I don't know. That might be an
Sure,
overlegend.
but it's
But it was
gorgeous.
just beautiful. But it meant that we could just have Christmas carols like throughout. And because
so
Becca is
nice.
like a director of music at school and she did music as her degree, so all of her
Wow.
friends are really musos. So we just had this lovely kind of 8-piece male choir singing this. I mean, it was good. But anyway,
That sounds
that's
divine.
a very
And the
long-
acoustics of a chapel are
Oh,
made for that.
Perfect.
That's good.
But it was a long way around of saying, so every year now we try and host like a Christmas party.
That's
And
so
and
nice.
now we've all got kids and everything, so it's just we love it. And so increasingly we just really enjoy hosting because we will like go to like it's like Home Alone's on in one room, like the radio's like playing Christmas, like Classic FM Christmas and then we've got like kind of like a Christmassy buffet.
Can
Anyway,
I come to your house for Christmas? This
Yes.
sounds right up my street. This is divine. Okay, well, here's my question. You've obviously now, you've been nominated for an Emmy twice. You've been to the parties. Best party you've ever been to? Worst party you've ever been to?
you know, I'd not really even sort of thought of parties in the context of like kind of those kinds of parties. I mean, I'll be really honest.
Please.
Just rabbit in the headlights at
Yeah,
those.
it must be terrifying.
Oh, absolutely terrible. Right. So for that first Emmy, I'd not even been to America before I went to the Emmys.
Shush,
I
really?
know, which is quite embarrassing,
That's
actually.
so endearing. It's actually quite American of you to not have been like
It's quite
out of the
it's quite
country.
British. It's quite British to be like, I mean, I'm just here and I've been nominated for an Emmy. It was I mean, it was so overwhelming. I'd not flown long haul. I'd been like, I'd travelled a bit, but I'd not flown long haul for like 10 years. I'd never flown first class.
Oh my gosh, did
And
you get to
then-
go first class?
Because I got nominated for an Emmy. So Apple were like, yeah, we'll fly you first class. I couldn't believe it.
The
But
plane's a party. First class is a
but
party.
I did make a big mistake because I sort of thought, and I knew I was only there for like 4 days in LA because I was then doing a film in New Mexico for 6 weeks. About 3 weeks later, and I was like, well, I can't be away from home.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And that was like the longest I was ever going to be away from home, like ever. I'd never been away
When
from
you
home.
have kids, it's a
more
long.
than
That's
like
a long
a few
stretch.
days, frankly.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, so I'm going to go there. I'm going to beat the jet lag. Here's my plan to beat the jet lag. And I knew I was going first class. Like, oh, so great. I'm just going to stay awake for the whole flight. So that when I land, which was at about sort of early evening time LA, I'll be really tired and I'll just sleep all night and then wake. And so obviously what happened was I got like sort of wired on the flight because I was just sort of watching film after film after film.
Yeah, of course.
And then like landed, basically sort of felt sick because I was so exhausted.
Mhm.
Because at this point it felt like it was sort of 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And then sort of was meant to meet a friend at the hotel for a drink. Sort of met him, but was like, I'm just going to be sick, I think. So
Yeah.
I was like, Mr. Swallow. And then I just went up into the hotel room and he'd given me sleeping tablets. He had said, please, because he'd been in LA where he's British, but he'd been in LA a while. And he was like, please, 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 just take these. But they were in like a little clear bag.
Yeah.
And I don't do, not to judge, but I just don't do drugs or anything. And I was really like,
What if it's accidentally
I
something
was like,
else?
I'm not sure if so I literally flushed them down the loo. He doesn't know this. I flushed them down the loo because I thought I didn't know what they were going to be. Nerd alert.
In case they were something.
In case there was something like bad, and I was like, I'd never been to America before, and like it's LA, and it's like
You
I
could
didn't
have
know where
told me
I
this
was, and I felt
not
sick.
told me you were raised religious, and I would have known
Yeah.
immediately.
Anyway,
The guilt,
I
the
flushed
shame.
I flushed them down the loo. Went to bed at like 11 o'clock local time, and I was like, right, okay, I'm exhausted, but I think I've nailed it. And like woke up at 1 a.m.
course
and then
you
was
did.
awake just for the whole night. And so then by the time it then got to when I was meant to be then doing like press and like getting ready for the Emmys
You're
because it was the
shattered.
next day, but just felt sick. I felt so sick. But we went there and we couldn't believe it because we were so sheltered from the success of it because we hadn't been travelling during the pandemic, obviously.
Yeah, of
And it
course.
was a bit of a sleeper hit over here in the first instance because I don't think as many people had Apple TV at the
Yeah.
time, whereas it kind of hit the ground running in America. And so I was just like, do you know Phoebe Walsh?
Yeah.
So
She
Phoebe
wrote on it loads
yeah,
and played
yeah, who
and
wrote
was
on it
in
loads.
it.
Exactly, yeah, who's brilliant and lovely. And I know like Phoebe from like way back when she was in like
Yeah.
Oyster at Edinburgh and stuff like that. And we were just both sat there. We were like on tables next to each other, but we were like kind of like very close. So like my back was, and so we were like every time they did a commercial break, we were like, oh my god, what this is mad. This is really mad. Because we were like in our heads, it's like our sort of safe area is like the upstairs at the Pleasance in Edinburgh. You know,
Yes,
that is where we
yes,
feel
yes.
like comfortable. Like, okay, well we know what that's about. And like we had like there were famous people kind of coming up to our table saying, oh, we love your show. And we're like, oh my god,
What
oh
are
my
you
god.
talking? I have questions. Do you get
Yes.
food at these things?
Well, so this was the thing. So that first Emmys was a little bit stripped back. Sorry, are we doing too
You're doing
much
great.
on the Emmys? Okay, fine.
There's no such thing as too much on the Emmys. I
Okay.
am gonna.
I mean, I've got
go
okay.
on,
No,
please.
but there's a couple of okay. So because I've not really ever spoken about this. So the answer is that first Emmys was apparently a stripped back Emmy. So I didn't know any different, but because of the pandemic, it was very restricted. So it was if you were nominated or you were like a +1 and maybe some publicist, but like there was hardly anyone there. It
Okay.
wasn't big. So it was just, and a lot of people who've been to those things before said actually it was really nice and it was there was less pressure. It was
Okay.
obviously still televised, but it was a lot smaller and lower key.
But still impressive enough for you to still feel like a competition winner.
Yeah,
very
yeah,
exciting
Oh,
to be
yeah,
there.
yeah. It
Yeah.
was really exciting, and like Ted Lasso like swept up. So it was really nice. Like it was
Yeah.
really nice, and like I think Hannah and Brett's, who both won those categories, were right at the start, and I was obviously in the category that Brett was in. So it kind of got it out of the way real quick. They both won, so it was like yeah, great. And
Woohoo.
so we were like off to a start, and then we could just relax. But there wasn't any booze, I don't think, and they had. Because of COVID and they weren't having like people come to it was like a box of charcuterie. It was like just a box of cold meat.
Oh gosh,
And I was sort of, and because all my eating times had been like kind of.
Well,
thrown
you were
into
feeling
right-
sick, so a box of meat must have been so unappetizing.
Well, but then by that point, I was sort of starting to like. I just sort of started eating. So, but then I was really thirsty, and there wasn't really anything to drink. So it was kind of quite weird. But then the party afterwards was
Not quite what you were thinking.
a weird. For what was it called? A really nice Italian restaurant. Like, so we went to the Apple TV party, and it was a really
Wow.
nice Italian restaurant. I wish I could remember the name of it, and it was gorgeous. And
It's
I did.
okay.
And
I
did
won't
eat
be
a
able to
lot.
afford to go there, but god damn, I'm glad you had a good
Well,
time.
I don't think it's like necessarily overrated. It's just it's quite difficult to get a table because I think it's very popular. But I don't think it was like. I mean, it was gorgeous food,
Yeah.
but like it was just really simple. It was like pizza and pasta. It was just really
Yum.
delicious, and it was just a lot of like, oh my god, is that person? Is that? I mean,
This is
it was
crazy.
mad. I loved it. I mean, and then when I met Harrison Ford through like
Oh my
Rare,
god.
I mean, I was like, he's just like, oh, this isn't another hi.
Hey man.
Oh my god, it's
Can I just
mad.
say, it's so nice to hear somebody
Mad.
talk about this. Like, you kind of want someone to, like someone who actually wanted all this to happen to them when they were 14 and it's happened, and it's so exciting to see you be excited
Oh,
because I
oh,
can't be doing with all the playing it cool.
oh
That's
no,
cool. It's
And I thi-
Harrison Ford. That's cool.
Oh, it's really cool. And there's maybe something about it happening, you know, I'm 44 now, like happening now, where there's maybe that, not saying that if it had happened in my 20s, I would have like been a prick about it. But I think there's something about it happening a bit later when you've done like work and you're just a bit more, you know, settled in yourself and
Yeah.
married with kids and stuff. Like, and I'm just like, oh, it is really good. Like,
Yeah,
it's
this is
really nice.
wicked.
It's really like, and that person's amazing because like, it's
You
just
know what's terrible?
great.
Having no money. You know what's nice? Having some money.
Well,
Like,
I mean, obviously that side of it, and it's a very, you know, feel very privileged to have been involved in that show and everything that's come with it. But it is like it, and also the other thing I think it's really important to tell people like Harrison Ford, like you are literally amazing,
aw.
because I think that like it's easy to think that those people must get that all the time,
And
and
they
to an
probably-
extent that they do, but actually. I now increasingly, even like really famous people, I will message them, and if I've seen them in something, I just want to say, and I'm not expecting a reply. I'll like
Yeah.
email their agent and
That's
say,
so
please, I'm
nice.
not expecting a reply, but I just want to say, if it like not
I
all
do
the
think
time.
there's an extent to which people are just like, yeah, okay, Usain Bolt's fast, like we get it. Where
Yeah.
you're like, no, that's still the same amount of
Yeah.
effort for him every time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's good to tell people. I think that's.
I won't say
gorgeous.
what the show is because it'll feel like a name drop. But I saw someone, and it was they were very famous, and they were doing a West End show, and I went to see it, and I was like blown away. I thought the performance was staggering.
Yeah.
And I thought and I don't know them, and I just sort of emailed them via the rate and just said, oh, I just want to say I went to see it, and like. The guy just like personally replies like, "Oh, thanks. Like, we're actually really nervous because it's coming up to press night, and you just think people are just human beings. Like the
Yeah.
night, like nice. Some people are horrible, but a
no,
lot of
you're
people
right.
are just like, yeah, it's quite nerve wracking. Oh, it's exciting, isn't it? You know,
It's
and they're just trying to
terrifying
get
to
through it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's gorgeous. Okay, well then let's start planning this party of yours.
Let's.
We'll start where we always do,
Mm.
with the venue.
Oh well,
Where are we taking everyone? Are we doing it at your house? Are we having
I
it?
think so.
Are we
Is that
having it at
really
your-
boring? Yeah.
No, I love that.
I just think that we've realised that I think part of it is because it just makes it a bit easier with the kids.
Yeah.
That if we have it at home, even if say like one of Becca's parents sort of like come and sort of be upstairs with the kid, it's just easier than like
Yeah.
us keep on phoning. Like if we're out,
Yeah.
then it can sort of be a little bit like, oh, not when you're coming home, but like kind of there's a little bit of an element of like we're clock watching a little bit. Whereas if it's at home, it just makes it all a little bit easier
I
with
love
the kids and
that.
stuff. So
Okay.
not that it's kids' party, but it just means that we're able to relax.
You're
little bit more.
within reaching distance. You can run up the stairs if you need to.
Exactly.
I think that's a really
we
good
can plan
reason.
for it. We can be like, you know what? You're gonna watch a film and you're gonna have some pizza and then you're gonna go to bed. Like we can just be a little bit more control of it. I think.
I
So
love that.
So
So
yes.
talk me through it. What kind of setup are we? Are we in a house? Or are we in a flat?
So I guess I'll describe our house.
Please.
Which is you go in, the little living room to the right, and a little sort of in between room, which I think has been divided into two. But anyway, then we've got quite like a good size, like open plan kitchen sort of dining room.
Gorgeous.
So actually, it's good
Really
for
good for a
hosting
party.
parties.
Yeah.
And actually, in the summer, because then the patio doors then open up to the garden, then you can open that up. And in fact, even when it's not been the summer, we have just opened that up, because it can get quite hot. If you've got people
Okay, so
in.
we've got an open
Um,
plan kitchen diner. We've got a potential for
Shall
outdoor
I
space.
show you a picture of it?
Well, I don't think the people at home will be able to
No,
see it.
right, fine.
And you know what? Let's not dox yourself. Let's keep your house a little bit private. You're allowed to have some things for yourself.
Well, I wasn't
There's a
gonna-
man who's famous and late in life.
I was only going to show you a picture because last February, almost a year ago, it was Becca's 40th, and
Nice.
Becca was like, all she wants to do is have a dinner party with her friends.
That's
Like
so
that's what she
sweet.
wants to do for
Yeah,
her 40th.
fair.
And we just set up I don't know how we managed to do it, but we managed to get 25 people sat down, seated.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, but it was packed, as in like everyone was jam-packed.
We're at
but
capacity.
yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
we're in your house.
Yes,
We know that limits probably how many people you can have.
quite.
Are you having a theme?
Well, only if it's Christmas theme.
Do you want it to be?
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm obsessed. I'm so happy.
But I assume that loads of people might have already done Christmas, or that you don't want to talk
No,
about Christmas.
people aren't as weirdly into Christmas as you think they would be.
Okay.
My mom buys a new porcelain Santa basically every Christmas. Like,
yeah.
if the woman actually was honest and took down everything from that attic, I'm pretty sure we
Mm.
could decorate every surface in the house. Like, I'm into it. I love it.
Oh, I
This is
love
so
it. Oh, all of
exciting.
it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
So-
so,
so
are we going
Christmas
to
Eve- Chris-
trad Christmas? Are we going like
Yes.
golds and reds?
Yes, Christmas jumpers, like tacky Christmas, like Bridget Jones Christmas, like that kind of like
Yes.
a really kind of classic Christmas party. So you can go as tacky as you like, or you could sort of sophisticate. You could be a bit more sophisticated.
But you
with
want
it.
people to wear Christmas garb, basically.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I'm.
Compared to Becca's 40th, where she insisted it was black tie. She made everyone come black tie. For
That's
her 40th.
fabulous. Good for her. Why the hell not? I
She's
haven't
also
had-
said when she dies, she wants a state funeral.
It's not the kind of thing you can ask for. 'Cause
No,
if you,
don't
okay,
think so.
shame. I was
Yeah.
like, put me on the list.
But she wants something very serious.
What I'll say is this: because I have found Christmas parties get overheated with the jumpers, I
Mm,
treated myself to a little Home Alone T-shirt.
that's good.
Kevin McAllister, hands on
Doing
the
the-
face,
yeah.
right on my chest.
that's
It's really,
brilliant.
it's very impactful.
Yeah.
And I'd strongly recommend a little Christmas T-shirt for those wondering about what to wear to the party.
So the Friday night before, so Becca and I got married on a Saturday, and on the Friday night, the night before, when we had like a meal with some quite close family,
Yeah.
it was Christmas. We insisted on Christmas jumpers.
I'm
So that's my
obsessed.
go-to one is the one that I wore that night actually,
Oh my
and it's just
gosh.
it is. But yeah, you're right. You can get hot.
It gets warm.
Mm.
Okay, are we doing food and drink?
Oh yeah,
Thank
God,
God.
yes.
Oh,
God
thank
yes.
God. I can't be doing with people who are like, you can eat before. You're like, well, why did you invite me? Why
No.
why am I here?
Yeah,
Okay,
because a party's got to last at least sort of. If you're calling it a party, I expect it's got to be more than 4 hours.
yeah, if you mean drinks, say drinks. But if we're having a
Yeah.
party, then you've got to feed people.
Yeah, a party feels like a special occasion.
So what are we having?
Well,
And is
So-
it Christmas time, or is this like a summer party with a Christmas theme?
ideally Christmas time, I think,
Right.
just so that you can, because I think it'd be too weird otherwise.
So we're doing a Christmas party at Christmas time with Christmas jumpers, potentially Christmas T-shirts, Christmas garb encouraged.
Christmas
tacky
garb,
is good.
and I mean like so sort of like tinsely earrings.
Yes.
The funny glasses, elf outfit,
All
elf,
encouraged.
head, the
Hats.
headpieces and everything. Love
Lovely.
all that, and we've got so much of that tapped.
So you can just have it ready at the door.
So
People
we
show
do.
up when
So we
prepared.
will occasionally we just leave it out, and then people can pop it in.
I love that.
So
It's
in-
also nice because no one can back out with a theme. You can just collect a costume at the door, my love.
I also think that people are far more like not that we've had tons of fancy dress stuff. I remember there was a Great Gatsby one, and like Halloween, but I feel like people are far more inclined to commit to Christmas theme than any other fancy dress theme or a theme that could be tacky.
I really agree. And what about this food then? What are we having?
So food, it's basically like in an ideal world, like you try and serve at Christmas dinner, but we can't do because it's too many people.
no, that would be
So
hugely ambitious.
So it's classic sort of.
Although
you
to
know-
be clear, this is your party and I can plan anything you like. So if you want that,
But to be honest, no, because I think it's just ultimately too sloppy. So, like,
it's sloppy. And you know what else? It leads to sleep. I don't think it leads to a good
yes,
party.
no one needs a roast.
No.
But there are nice things that you would maybe have with a roast, or kind of have as either a starter or kind of so like pigs in blankets.
Yes.
We've definitely done pigs in blankets.
Very nice. They're in.
Like a dipping like a camembert, like camembert,
Oh,
baked
yes, like a
camembert
yes.
with like rosemary and garlic and a bit of honey, and
Oh
like
my
dipping
God,
in like sort of like
yes.
bread to that. So that's
Yes.
delicious. And occasionally we'd have that like as a starter anyway.
That sounds divine. What about those like baked brie with the cranberry sauce?
All that basically, all the
Yes.
stuff that M&S and Waitrose, and in fact, all the supermarkets at Christmas, they all know how to
They
like,
really
do that.
they can
Like,
tart up a finger
the ones
food.
that you get, and they're in a box, and there's probably about 12 of them, and it's always like triple baked cheese souffle with bacon. They're all
Yeah.
delicious. They're all like all the reds on the what you're allowed to eat. They're all red.
Yes.
like, Like you shouldn't really eat them anytime, but they are absolutely gorgeous. And like the meat, well, like mini. It's always mini things that shouldn't be mini, like a mini. Like a beef, like mini beef Wellington,
Yeah.
like bites,
Yeah.
like coated in breadcrumbs, deep fried, and then and a cheese dipping sauce. It's all those like
Mac and cheese bites.
oh, mac and cheese bites.
Oh my god. Okay, phenomenal.
You know that stuff,
I know
right?
exactly
Yeah.
what you mean.
No, I can't eat fish or seafood, so I'm not going for the kind of the prawn tempura or the kind of.
And is it out of the house or is it just like not
no,
for
it
you?
can. No, other people can eat it, but I probably wouldn't buy it because I just like.
Good for you. If
Yeah.
you're not having it, why is it at your party?
Yeah.
Fine.
Mini-
Do we have a drink? Do we have a signature drink?
We would serve like drinks to come in, like in a sort of semi-traditional but piss
Can I just say
takey
there
kind
just
of way.
seems to be like a perfect opportunity here because you could have a Saint Nick's and a Beck the Holes
Oh, that's good, isn't
for
it?
Nick and Becky's. You could have,
Yeah.
don't you think?
Yeah.
Beck the Holes, and then you could
We'll
have
do
two
that this
drinks.
year.
That would be
Okay,
gorgeous.
That is nice. That is nice.
So, what would your ideal drink be?
Well, it's the other thing about it being Christmas is that you can keep a bit of mulled wine on the hob, and not
Yeah.
only does it, people will drink it at various points in the
But
day
it
because it
makes
could
it
be like a
smell
nice thing, and it
divine.
makes it smell, and it sets everyone into like the perfect kind of mood. So that would be a given we'd have a good stash
Fine.
of mulled wine sort of brewing. So it does go quite quick.
yeah, and
because
also
people
it
are,
gets
like,
people.
ladling it in.
It gets people absolutely blotto. Something
Yeah.
about warm wine
I think it's
makes
'cause-
British people crazy.
And because but I think that's almost psychosomatic. It's the warmth,
I
isn't it?
agree.
It makes you feel drunk, I guess, because
Yeah.
of the warmth.
Oh, it's
So
good.
mulled wine, and then like really cheap prosecco, like really oversweet.
But I can get you anything.
No, Becca and I have had this conversation a lot. We prefer like $6.99. Honestly,
You sure? I could get you champagne.
no, because I mean, like, oh god,
Good
this
for
is
you,
such a
know
first world,
thyself. This is
such a
gorgeous.
first world problem. But like, I've been given nice bottles of champagne, right, for like jobs and like
Wasted
getting
on you, is
nominated
it?
for an. We don't know anything about that stuff. Nothing. And like, frankly, we'll open it and we'll be like, it's just not as nice as that.
As the-
$6.99. It's just because we're just
Listen, I love
and
the
it is sweeter. There
self-knowledge.
is something about the cheaper stuff is sweeter.
Oh,
It feels
100%.
like,
It's sugary,
Well,
sugary.
it's schlur.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I love that you're like, I'm going to have the sweet Prosecco that I like.
Yeah.
I love a dry champagne or a dry cava.
So that's too dry for us.
But well, listen, next time you're nominated for an Emmy, if they send you a case, I'll take it off your
Okay.
hands. Just to get it out of the house, clear the space.
And I'll say this: it wasn't a case. It was just the one. But they would like look. This is nuts. But it is just the Apple machine, I guess, and it is a wonderful thing. But they will send stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I going to do with that?
I quite like the idea
Like
that
that-
your kids will develop a level of taste that you don't have. Like, you'll be like, we'll stick with the 2 Prosecco, and your kids will be like, we're going to have the fancy dark chocolate this evening. Thank you so much. From Daddy Apple.
We genuinely got sent some chocolate from Apple, but of course it wasn't just dairy milk, which I'll just eat till the cows. I just sort of munch on every day.
Nick Mohammed, I adore you,
it
but
was-
this is a crime.
But it was like this fancy bar. Underneath it was like a gold coated like cocoa bean, then like an engraved thing. And a thing to store it, and it's like, what? Just get us some chocolate. Like,
Yeah,
just
we
if you're
have
going to
3
spend this
kids.
money, Tony's chocolate. I love that.
That's as bougie as you want your chocolate, really.
Yes, because quite, and or like literally all like Cadbury's.
Wow,
Anyway,
you're a
sorry.
sweet
Yes,
angel.
but
This is
no,
so
but,
great.
but yes.
What an easy man to entertain. This is lovely.
Yes, so quite a cheap day.
So obviously we're limited by the space, but who's coming? Is it in like an open guest list? Are family members allowed?
No,
Okay, great.
that's.
I was going to say, is
already-
anyone barred,
no.
but family are off the table.
I think family are off the table because we both Becca and I just keep family. We don't. It's not that we don't see our families and we all get on, but like we keep those things separate because
friends and family are separate.
completely
Fair.
because we're all we are. I think Becca and I act differently in front of our families a little bit, probably.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? Yeah, correct.
Who doesn't?
So, and I think that we would have. I just think it's just we're just going to keep them separate.
It's okay. You don't need to say what you're going to say, but we all would
I think
do
we
the
all
same
know what
thing.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
Anyway,
absolutely.
So yes, but then there is that question of all right, do you invite all people from the sort of same friendship group because
Yeah.
then you're not going to
Or
have
do you
that kind
mix
of
it up?
worry, or do you mix it up? And because I mean both my wife and I really have kind of gone through so I met Becca at Durham University, and then I went to Cambridge to do a postgrad but I was doing science. But then I got into doing comedy. And then I sort of like did acting, but I also do magic and I do music, and Becca does music as well. So we have actually got friends from so many different pockets, but who we're very much like a big parts of our
And
lives.
can you even
still.
mix magicians and scientists, or do
Well,
they have to duel?
But now we just like say, sod it, we're gonna just mix everyone. So because actually, and especially at this age, like everyone just gets like if everyone's up for coming, then they're up for like talking. Like people want to talk to other people and people that they don't know. It's not like school and university where it's like, well, I don't know them, so I'm just going to stay in my clique.
You're not going to have a magician who's like, I'm not talking to Hannah Waddingham.
I'm not going to talk to any other. I am only going to talk to other magicians.
So we're mixing groups. We're mixing friendship groups, but we're not mixing with family. Are you inviting neighbours?
Our neighbours
Given
are
you're having it at the
absolutely
house.
wonderful. We would invite them actually, yeah, because they're great. And we actually did do a separate thing with our neighbours where we just got them in just for like sort of like an hour. It was we were like, okay, why don't you come around at 6 and we're going to be putting Annie to bed at 7.
I love that.
But it was
I really like that.
But they are honestly wonderful. And bearing in mind, I've spoken about it before, but we had when we were living in the flat, our neighbours below us hated us because we had kids, and so we were so. And not that we would ever choose to be antisocial and have like parties that were noisy or anything like that, but we were so kind of conscious of noise and didn't have a good relationship with our neighbours. And now we do, and it's just glorious.
Invite them. It means they won't complain.
Yeah,
it's
but
nice.
not that they would ever, because occasionally we're like, oh God, we're sorry if the kids are a bit, and they were like, oh God, and their kids are older, like sort of late teenager, and they were like, oh God, we just miss it, and we're like, oh God, do you hear Annie crying? Do you hear like that? And they're like, oh, we love it because we literally just turn over and think we don't have to deal with it. Like they are so nice.
Ideal. Okay, well, I also have a special magic power of my own because I can get you any 3 dream guests now. They can be dead, alive. They don't have to be famous. Which 3 people am I getting for your guest list, Nick Mohammed?
But are these people who wouldn't be coming normally?
It's totally up to you. People have invited Elvis. People have invited Bowie. People have invited you can invite your grandmother, whoever you want.
Oh God. Oh, I always talk about him, but Darren Brown.
Really?
Such a fan, yeah.
Really? Have you met him?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, he's
you
seen
could
my
even
shows.
send the invite.
I could send the invite. In fact, I think I invited him to the Christmas party we had, but he couldn't make it. It was in Bristol. But
You're so sweet. It's so sweet that you
maybe
remember the
Darren.
excuse as well. He was definitely in Bristol. He said he was in Bristol, and I
It's
believe
really
him. The man was
bad.
in Bristol.
I know,
I'm sure he
it's
was.
really bad. I know. But it's that thing of when you've become like, I mean, Darren's been going around doing like 20 years, right? So I. When I started watching the Mind Control series, and and I've always been into magic and stuff, but like he was so influential and like, and I loved and I'll still see everything that he does, and then it's weird because then as I've like then started doing more stuff, and then. But he will like come and see me, and I think out of choice, like it doesn't feel like
It doesn't feel like you could make him.
And we've had a drink after and stuff, but it still feels like, oh my God, it's Darren Brown.
That's so cute. Yeah. Well, I won't give him any choice. He's put on the guest list. He's definitely showing up. Who else are we having?
I think Andrew Lloyd Webber. I just think someone doing sort of show tunes around the piano.
Wow, you want him to perform, not just to get it. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. I'll tell you what.
I performed at his house. It was really weird. Years ago, like a decade ago, I used to do this.
Is this like revenge? You're putting him on,
having
him back to play the piano.
Does he get a bad rep? Maybe not. I don't know. I actually really like him. And I brought up on his music, would always listen to that and still love his musicals. But I did a gig and basically someone from his company, the Really Useful Group or whatever, came and saw, I used to do this conductor, you might not have seen it. Anyway, I used to do this skit where I played a conductor.
Okay.
And basically it was all timed sound effects that would play. And it was like a little set piece and it was fun. And I used to do it for a while, I don't do it anymore. And anyway, one of his companies saw it and they were like, oh, that'd be good for one of Andrew's parties, basically, where he tries out new material for his new musicals. But we do like a Friday night thing and it would be good to sort of open the show with that. And I was like, oh, wow. Anyway, so I then had to go and sort of audition it because he had not seen it. So I then had to go to his offices in Covent Garden and just perform it just to him. Whoa. And then got to go to his house, or like one of his houses, like on this big estate in the countryside, and perform. That's and like this, sick. And he introduced me, and he sort of billed it as like a conducting lesson or something like that. And it was like, and I was like, oh man, this is great.
So
I really liked him. I thought it was really nice.
I'll tell you what, I too have been at one party with Andrew Lloyd Webber. What a life we lead! And my partner at the time stepped on his toe, and he apologized, and I found that quite charming.
Oh yeah,
I thought Okay,
Yeah.
he's English to the bone. We'll give him
Yeah, he's just, he's great. Who else? Come on.
Well, third one, yes, please. We've got Darren. We've got Andrew. Go on.
I've just thought of this now, though.
Your face just moved. It was so lovely. What is it? Who is it?
Sticking with the Christmas theme, Catherine O'Hara.
I'm dead. I'm dead.
The reaction to it, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, why not?
Oh,
that's lush.
absolutely
Watch your curtains.
adore her.
Very exciting.
Oh
This
my
is a
goodness
thrill.
me.
Okay, done. So,
Yeah.
right, we've got the playlist. It's camp and divine as hell.
Yeah.
Genuinely, that could be like an 80-year-old gay man's invite list. I love it. It's fabulous.
Yeah, well, actually, Darren Brown, Andrew Lloyd Webber, and Catherine O'Hara.
It's gorgeous, but next up is the party playlist right after this. Okay, let's get into the music, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
What are you putting on? What are your go-to tunes? Is it all Christmas?
Yes.
Does it change over the night?
It does. It does.
Okay.
So when we got married, we were very aware of like the kind of the playlist, like music that might play in the drinks reception versus anything that's playing sort of during the meal and versus what's in the party, because it can't just be like Christmas pop forever because people might go mad.
It'll be relentless.
It's
a little bit
that is
much.
relentless.
Yeah.
And so I would probably start off quite classic, like carols from like kind of like just really like quite kind of classic traditional carols, basically.
Gorgeous.
This is very specific. So starting off like
That's what I want.
Then we're going into basically slightly more poppy, but not pop, but more popular sort of like John Rutter rather than traditional carol, and things like the score from Home Alone, the score from Elf, the score from the Polar Express.
The score from Home Alone is genuinely so moving.
Oh my God.
It's beautiful.
Oh my God.
It's beautiful.
One of John Williams' finest. I mean, just
completely agree.
Gorgeous.
It's heaven. Okay, and then we're going.
And then we're going because now the lights are low, and now we're going, and now everyone's had a drink, and now we can do the pop. But then
love this.
We go back to carols round the piano. Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Oh God, I hope he stays to the end because we need him for the last the last bit. That's exciting. Okay, I can't let you come to a party planning session, especially a Christmas themed one, without giving you a party gift. So we've got a little gift bag for you over there.
Okay.
How are you about getting gifts?
Oh, Becca says it's my love language, receiving gifts.
Receiving them.
I love a gift.
Do you?
And I like a surprise.
Oh, that's so nice.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
I hate getting gifts. I hate a surprise.
Oh,
really?
yeah, and I like giving them as well. But no, I love it. Yeah.
That's so
yeah,
sweet.
I really do. Can I look?
Yeah, I just didn't know that there could be a dad who is good at getting gifts.
Right, let's see. A reversible bucket hat. A red-nosed day reversible bucket hat.
Yeah. I'm sure you're pretty hyped
that
with
looks
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it's quite high quality. That. Yeah, I've just
you are nice at receiving receiving gifts.
Right, let's have a look.
Quite high
a lovely party hat. Do you want me to put it on?
Oh my God, I beg.
Okay.
Oh, it's so sweet. You're so lucky they fit you. They don't fit my head. I have a giant bonds.
It might
Snap.
pop. Oh, they're great. Some really nice pin badges. And it's come out of its box, but the classic.
It's your
red
classic nose.
There we go.
Oh,
I'm going to take that off.
Yeah,
it's
digging
a lot.
In.
It's digging in.
You can take both of them. You did so well.
I love them. Thank you.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
I do like those. So.
And you can share them with your kids.
I will indeed.
Okay, I nearly obviously have to go and start making this party happen. But before I do, we need to talk law and order.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's such a thing as a good party without rules. I'm not always agreed with on that front. But do you have any? Like, are you strict on arrival times or end times? Are children allowed? Is there anything you want to veto?
Well, so what we did with the last one, because of my age, so many of our friends have got kids. Like, it's difficult to do a Christmas party. It's difficult to ask people to come away from their kids at Christmas on like a Saturday. So our Christmas party starts at 1, by the way. I should have said that.
What? Well, that really changes everything. Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
What time's it ending?
Oh, it'll go on till late at night. But we'll start it. I mean, maybe not as late as early as 1, but like certainly mid-afternoon. So then kids can come.
Okay, maybe like 2 to 6.
And we can and we can put a film on, and then that contingent can then sort of leave if they need to. But then there's plenty of people who don't have kids or who've got sort of babysitting, and then can stay later. And also because it's Christmas once a year, so you kind of want to get the most out of a Christmas party. You don't want to be
You
going
do.
like
You're like, milk it.
between like
We're starting at 11. We'll
yeah,
finish at
11
11.
a.m. to 11 p.m. No, but and it also means that there's an element of like an open house to it, and because it's kind of Christmas and each room is sort of like decorated, and there's a film playing in there, or you can go and hang in there. And we did a fire pit in the garden with like roasted marshmallows and hot chocolate. Like
I want
really
to
went to
come to
town.
this party. Okay, can we have that at this one?
Yeah.
Do you want that?
So we can
the
have all
fire,
that.
the
So there's no
s'mores?
set arrival time necessarily, but I guess we have to be a bit stricter on departure, which has to be midnight at the latest.
Really?
Yeah.
Why so?
Kids.
Good for you.
Because only even Becca's 40th, we're like out. Get out. We were really, but it started at like 5-6 o'clock. So
Okay, I respect that.
So it's just because you can't
you're
you can't go to
compensating on
bed
the other side.
later and then because you can't then get up hungover with the because it's impossible.
Kids
It's
just don't care either.
They would not
yeah.
care in the slightest. So unless
enough.
they were away, but there's no way they could because they're too young.
Okay, yeah, it'd be mad to send your 2-year-old on a weekend abroad.
Quite, yeah.
Abroad. Here's my question. Obviously, you're a magician. Are we doing organised fun? Are we doing karaoke? Are we doing magic? Are we doing ventriloquist? What are we
Oh
doing?
wow. I sort of want to say no.
Busman's
It's a
holiday?
bit busman's holiday, yeah. And
Good
I
for
think
you.
there's an element of kind of. I think I used to possibly be that guy who would like, oh, I've got my cards. Hey
Party
guys,
trick
hey, I'll
time.
and there is it's fun to do that, and if people enjoy it, then sort of why not? And I enjoy it, but you don't want to be that person necessarily, and also there's an element of just have a break from it and just.
I
sort
think
of like,
it's awkward to do magic at your own house because it just feels like, what are people meant to say? Like, they have to be wowed, and it's
quite.
but why?
If it came up organically, like if someone was like, "Oh, can you please?"
You sound like every man
Sure.
with an acoustic guitar. Listen, if people ask
Look,
me to
if people
play,
say
I'm
me
gonna
to play, I'll
play.
play. I mean, I've got deck of cards on me now, but but I wouldn't try and seek it out or engineer a situation.
for you.
But I do like karaoke. I do like it a lot, but I feel that's what the singing around the piano is. So it's a slightly more
Inclusive.
Victorian sort of karaoke.
I prefer playing around the piano and everyone singing. That feels like it's for everyone. Karaoke always feels like it's for the girl who's just had a breakup.
Yes,
And I think-
and again, people are far more inclined to join in at Christmas with that kind of stuff
So true.
than outside of Christmas.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Well, we need to come up with a party name for your invitation. So let's run through the broad strokes of what you've told me, if we
Yes.
can. 0 party tricks at this, because why would we? Andrew Lloyd Webber's on the piano.
Yeah.
The theme is Christmas. Of
Mhm.
course it is. The dress code, wear as tacky as you like Christmas garb.
Mhm.
Please. Venue, Nick's house. Don't mind if we do. Food is every delicious bit of finger food sold by a sort of high brand supermarket in specifically Britain that we can get our hands on, ideally made of cheese.
Yeah, cheese and salt. There's a really high salt content
Yeah.
in all of it.
If it's not giving an actual warning for your health, we don't want it at the party, thank you. We are having, ideally, a Beck's the Halls and St. Nick's signature drinks, one of which will be a pot of mulled wine.
Sure.
The guest list is no family, thank you very much. That's separate. We'll already have to do that on Christmas Day.
Yes, yeah.
We're
quite.
having friends of all kinds of groups.
Mhm.
We are having Darren Brown. We're having Catherine O'Hara. We're having Andrew Lloyd Webber. And yeah, do you know what? The neighbours can come.
Yeah, they can.
How lovely. No one's barred per se, but don't tell your mum it's happening. Thank you so much. The playlist is genuinely beautifully specific. We're starting with trad carols. We are moving into music scores for Christmas themed movies like Home Alone, like Elf. Then we are graduating into Christmas pop. We're having a boogie. We're circling back to trad carols on the piano, as played by one Andrew Lloyd Webber, if he wouldn't mind. Gifts. It turns out you want them, you love them. You'd
Yeah,
ideally
I'd
like to be
accept them all.
surprised.
Yeah.
You will take them. Yes, please. If they have to be for your kids, fine, but you'd prefer they were for you. The rules are, if you're bringing your kids, show up during the day. And what are there any other rules? Did we say?
No, I mean, obviously we don't want the house to kind of get trashed or anything, but
Oh, and get the hell out at midnight.
get hell out of midnight. The one thing I
Yes.
will say is we do quite like that there's then like a bit of gossip. It's quite, there being a little bit of gossip the day after a
Yes.
party is really fun.
Well, what about we have one of that, that middle room, the sort of breakout space?
Yeah.
What if we make that a specifically designated gossip corner?
Yeah.
People are encouraged to tell their
Did you see that person?
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
did you hear that they were?
Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
It is done. With all that in mind. Oh, a gossip grotto.
Gossip grotto.
Oh, I love Christmas.
Yeah, with like streamer, those sort of streamers.
Yes.
Ready. Yeah.
I beg.
Yeah.
I beg. Okay, great. Oh my God, yes. Okay. So with all that in mind, what do we call this thing, Nick? What do we think?
Christmas cheers.
Christmas cheers is fun.
Christmas cheers.
Christmas cheers is cute.
Yeah, because it's like cheers
yeah,
and
I
Christmas
like
cheers.
that.
Yeah,
Christmas
maybe Christmas
cheers it is.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Nick, thank you so much. Well, it's your party. It's a Christmas cheers party, and I assume I'm invited.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't convincing.
You're no, you are invited.
Okay,
No,
that felt a bit like coal to the face, but fine.
Look. Okay, I was saying anyone's invited.
Even the dregs.
No. People from comedy, people from magic.
Wow,
people
you're
from
generous.
university.
Let's do some quick fire questions before you go.
Oh, wow, okay.
Great. Well, the first one we know. Themed cocktails or no?
I would if they were festive, yeah.
Candles everywhere or serious fire hazard?
Oh, candles everywhere, we love them.
Confetti cannons, fun or an instant regret?
Both.
Fancy invitation or last minute WhatsApp message?
No, fancy invitation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking to strangers, social butterfly or avoid at all costs?
Talking to strangers.
Yeah, probably with a very earnest compliment to you, sweetie pie. How lovely. Well, there you have it.
Is that it? Oh, I thought there was going to be more.
Almost there.
Oh.
There you have it. You're invited to Nick's Christmas cheers party, and we cannot wait. That's it.
I can't believe it.
Thanks very much for listening. Be sure to give us a follow, a 5-star rating, review, tell a friend, all that good stuff. You can find It's My Party on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you choose to listen. Or you can find us on Insta and TikTok at Comic Relief. To buy Comic Relief merchandise, visit amazon.co.uk/Comic Relief, where you can also learn more about Amazon's work with Comic Relief, a registered charity. It's My Party is produced by Ollie Seymour and executive produced by Ariane Mary for Audio Always. Executive producer for Comic Relief is Sam Michelle, and for Amazon Music, it's Megan Bradshaw.